The first time the alien girl realized something was wrong with her, she was not afraid. She was confused. Her name, translated into human language, meant observer of calm currents. In her species, names were instructions. She was trained from birth to watch without feeling, to record without judgment, and to leave without attachment. Emotions were considered dangerous chemical errors. Desire was classified as a biological malfunction. Humans were supposed to be simple. That was what the Galactic Council said. They were loud, emotional, divided, and fragile, useful as labor or soldiers but not as equals. Their minds were resistant to light influence but not enough to matter, or so everyone believed. That belief shattered the day she was assigned to Outpost Helios 9. The station floated near the edge of human-controlled space, a metal ring wrapped around a dim yellow star. It was not beautiful by her standards. It was inefficient, noisy, and full of unnecessary movement. Humans walked fast, talked fast, laughed loudly. They touched each other often, on purpose. She found it unsettling. Her task was simple: observe one human unit up close, measure emotional instability, identify weaknesses, report back. The human chosen was a soldier named Elias Ward. He was not impressive at first glance. Average height, average strength, no visible enhancements. His uniform was worn, patched more than once, as if he preferred repair over replacement. When she was introduced to him, she expected fear, curiosity, or arrogance. Instead, he nodded. "Welcome to Helios 9, he said. "You can call me Elias. If you need anything, just ask." He did not stare at her extra eyes. He did not ask invasive questions. He did not attempt dominance or submission rituals. He treated her as if she belonged there. This was incorrect behavior. For the first few days, she observed in silence. Elias guided her through the station, explaining systems without being asked. When alarms tested, he showed her safety routes. When she paused to record data, he waited without complaint. Humans, she learned, were inefficient in strange ways. Elias would stop to help others even when it slowed him down. He would share food without calculating loss. He laughed at his own mistakes. Laughter made no sense to her. One cycle, while monitoring external sensors, the station shuddered. A low vibration passed through the hull, followed by a sharp alarm tone. Unknown vessels had entered the system without clearance. The outpost went into partial lockdown. Elias moved instantly, calm, focused. "Stay close," he said to her, not as an order but as advice. They moved through narrow corridors as personnel rushed to defensive stations. She noticed something strange. Her heart rate increased. Her skin temperature shifted. Her breathing pattern changed. She was reacting. This was unacceptable. A blast struck the outer ring. Power flickered. Emergency lights bathed the corridor in red. Elias pushed her gently into a side chamber as a bulkhead sealed behind them. They were alone. The chamber was small, storage crates, a single bench, the hum of backup power. Her species did not like enclosed spaces. It amplified sensory feedback. She could feel the station vibrations through the floor, through the air, through him. Elias noticed her tension. "You're safe here," he said quietly. "Doors are reinforced. No one's getting in." She studied his face. Humans showed emotions openly, like exposed wiring. Concern was visible in the angle of his brow, the tension in his jaw, yet his voice was steady. "You are calm," she said, "despite danger." He shrugged slightly. "Training helps. Fear doesn't disappear, you just don't let it drive." That answer stayed with her. Minutes passed, then more. Communications were down. The station trembled again, closer this time. Her thoughts began to drift in unfamiliar ways. She was aware of him in the room, his presence, his warmth, the sound of his breathing. This awareness was intrusive. She tried to suppress it, failed. "Elias," she said, her voice lower than intended. "Yeah." "Why do you treat me as equal?" He blinked, surprised. "Because you are." "That is not logical. I am an observer, not human, not allied." He leaned back against a crate. "You're here, you're alive, that's enough for me." Her chest tightened. The sensation was uncomfortable. Yet she did not wish it to stop. Another explosion echoed through the station. The lights flickered again. Instinctively, she stepped closer to him. She realized she was trembling. Elias noticed immediately. "Hey," he said softly, "it's okay." He did not touch her. That was what broke something inside her. Most species would have taken advantage of proximity, claimed control, used fear to assert dominance. Humans were known for aggression, yet this human did nothing. "You could restrain me," she said suddenly, "for safety." "I could," he agreed, "but you didn't ask for that." Her breath caught. Her species had no word for what she felt next. It was not fear, not excitement, not hunger. It was something pulling outward. "Elias," she said again, "if I lose emotional control, would you force me to stop?" He met her eyes. "I'd ask what you need first." That answer caused a system-wide failure in her training. Her emotions surged. Years of suppression cracked under the weight of a single choice she had never been allowed to make. She felt desire, not for possession but for closeness, for understanding, for permission to be more than an observer. Her voice shook. "Human," she said, using his species title as her people did when speaking seriously. "Are you really going to do this with me?" He did not misunderstand the question. He also did not rush. "What does this mean to you?" he asked carefully. No one had ever asked her that. She closed her eyes. "It means choosing together, not command, not instinct, choice." Outside the chamber, the sounds of battle faded. Somewhere in the distance, weapons fire slowed. But inside the small room, time felt suspended. Elias nodded once. "Then yes," he said. "If it's a choice, I'm here." She opened her eyes. Tears, another forbidden response, slid down her face. She did not wipe them away. She stepped forward and rested her forehead lightly against his chest, mimicking a human gesture she had observed earlier. He remained still, allowing her to decide the distance. Her sensors recorded elevated heart rate, elevated emotional output, elevated risk. She did not care. For the first time in her life, the observer stopped observing. She stayed. When the emergency lights finally returned to normal brightness, the silence inside the chamber felt louder than the battle ever had. The alien girl slowly lifted her head from Elia's chest. She had expected regret, shame, fear. Those emotions were common after an uncontrolled response. Instead, she felt steady. That alone frightened her more than the attack. Outside the chamber, the station's internal systems began to stabilize. Power rerouted. Air pressure normalized. A distant voice crackled over the emergency channel, announcing that hostile vessels had withdrawn after meeting unexpected resistance from human defense drones. Humans had pushed back again. Elias exhaled softly. "Looks like we're not dead today." She studied him closely. His tone was light, but his eyes were tired. Humans carried stress in ways that were invisible to scanners but clear to anyone who watched long enough. "You risked yourself," she said. He shrugged. "That's kind of the job. That is inefficient." He smiled a little. "Yeah. We get told that a lot." They left the chamber once the doors unlocked. The corridor outside was damaged, scorch marks along the walls, a ruptured panel sparking weakly. The station smelled of heated metal and recycled air. As they walked, she noticed something new. She walked beside him, not behind. No protocol told her to do this. She simply did. Other humans passed them, some wounded, some carrying equipment. They glanced at her, then at Elias, then moved on. No fear, no hostility, just acknowledgement. It unsettled her. Back in the observation quarters assigned to her, she began her report to the Galactic Council. Her fingers hovered over the interface. She could not write. The data was clear. Humans resisted psychic pressure. Humans favored cooperation over dominance. Humans formed bonds rapidly under stress. But none of that explained what she felt. She deleted the draft. Elias stood near the doorway waiting. He never entered without invitation. She had noticed that about him early on. "Do you need rest?" he asked. "I can arrange quarters farther from the external hull, quieter." She considered the question carefully. No one had ever asked what she needed instead of telling her. "Yes," she said, "but not alone." The words surprised them both. Elias did not react immediately. He did not assume, he did not step forward. "Okay," he said, "we can sit in the common area, plenty of space." She nodded, relief spreading through her body like warmth. They sat across from each other in a wide room filled with human comforts, soft lights, mismatched chairs. A table scratched from years of use. It was imperfect, and yet it felt safe. She watched him drink water, the way his throat moved. She observed how he breathed when he thought no one noticed. Her training tried to turn these details into data. Her emotions refused. "Elias," she said quietly, "what happens to humans who break rules?" He laughed once. "Depends on the rule. My people will demand explanation. They will say I am compromised." He leaned back. "Are you?" She searched herself. Fear was there, uncertainty, but also clarity. "No," she said, "I am aware." He nodded. "Then tell them that. They will not accept it. Then let them come see for themselves." That suggestion made her freeze. "Direct contact is forbidden." "Yeah," he said gently. "Humans break those rules too. Sometimes the rules are wrong." The idea was dangerous, revolutionary. It also made sense. Over the next cycles, the outpost repaired itself. Humans worked long hours without complaint. They joked while carrying heavy equipment. They shared food with injured crew. Elias was always among them, never above them. She followed him often, not as an observer but as a presence. She began helping. At first, humans were unsure. Then they accepted her assistance naturally. She learned to hand tools, to monitor systems, to warn of pressure changes before alarms triggered. They trusted her. That trust pressed against her internal limits. One cycle, a message arrived from the Galactic Council. A retrieval vessel was en route. She was ordered to prepare for immediate return. Psychological cleansing would follow. She felt something sharp in her chest. Elias found her standing still in the corridor, message display glowing. "They're coming," she said. He did not ask who. "When?" "2 cycles," he nodded slowly. "Do you want to go?" The question felt heavier than gravity. "I was designed to obey," she said, "but I want to stay." "Then stay." "It is not that simple." "It never is," he agreed. "But wanting something matters. Even if you can't have it, the wanting still counts." She looked at him. "Humans accept loss. We hate it," he said, "but yeah, we live with it." That night she could not rest. Her mind replayed every interaction, every choice. She realized something terrifying. If she returned, she would forget. Emotional cleansing would erase this version of herself. The one who chose, the one who felt. She sought Elias again. "I do not want to disappear," she said. "You won't," he said immediately. "Not while I'm here. But you cannot fight my people." He met her gaze. "Maybe not with weapons." When the alien vessel arrived, it dwarfed the outpost. Smooth, silent, perfect, its presence felt cold. A delegation arrived aboard Helios 9, tall, expressionless, familiar. They spoke to her in their native tone, calm, precise. "You are compromised," they said. "You will return." She looked at Elias standing behind her, not guarding, just present. "I am functioning," she replied. "I request autonomy." The delegation turned their attention to the human. "This is human interference." Elias stepped forward slightly. "She asked for choice. That's not interference, that's respect." They did not understand the word. "She belongs to us." Elias shook his head. "No one belongs to anyone." The delegation paused. That concept was problematic. "You will step aside." He didn't. "I won't force her," he said, "and I won't help you force her either." Silence stretched. The alien girl felt fear surge again. This time it was different. It was not paralyzing. It was protective. "I choose to stay," she said clearly. The delegation reacted instantly. Restraint fields activated. Elias moved before thinking, placing himself between her and the energy field. "Don't," he warned. Weapons powered up. For one breath, the galaxy balanced on a mistake. Then alarms sounded again. Human ships entered the system, not aggressively, defensively, a message broadcast across open channels. "This is human space," the voice said. "No forced extraction will occur here." The delegation hesitated. They had not expected resistance without violence. They withdrew. The alien vessel retreated, leaving behind silence and a truth the galaxy would struggle to process. Humans did not dominate. They stood. The alien girl felt something settle inside her, a sense of belonging she had never been programmed to seek. She turned to Elias. "You risked conflict for me," he smiled tiredly. "You were worth the paperwork." She made a sound that surprised her, laughter. It was imperfect, uncontrolled, human, and she realized she could not stop anymore. She did not want to. The days after the alien delegation withdrew were not calm. They were quiet in the way a held breath is quiet. Helios 9 continued its routines, but something had changed. Humans worked with sharper focus. Conversations paused when the alien girl passed, not from fear but from awareness. Everyone knew what had almost happened. Everyone knew what she had chosen. She felt it too. For the first time, she was not an observer assigned to a place. She was a person standing inside a consequence. Elias was given warnings, not punishments. Humans rarely punish their own for protecting others, but warnings. Diplomatic tension, possible retaliation, increased monitoring. He accepted them without complaint. She did not. "You risk much," she said one cycle as they watched maintenance drones drift past the viewport. He leaned against the railing. "Worth it." "That answer is illogical. Most important ones are." She studied him, trying to understand how humans balanced fear and conviction so easily. Her people feared instability above all else. Humans seemed to walk directly into it, as if chaos were a language they spoke fluently. A message arrived from the Galactic Council 2 cycles later. Not a demand, an inquiry. That alone was alarming. The Council requested her presence for evaluation but not retrieval. They wanted dialogue, observation, explanation. They wanted to understand why a single human outpost had resisted protocol without firing a shot, and why it worked. "You do not have to go," Elias said when she told him. "I should," she replied. "If I do not speak, they will decide without me." He nodded slowly. "Then I'll go with you. You are not permitted." "Yeah," he said, "I know." They stood in silence. "I will return," she said finally. "I choose that." He smiled faintly. "I trust you." That word again, trust. The council chamber was vast and cold, orbiting a neutral star. Delegates from dozens of species observed from elevated platforms. No weapons, no overt hostility, only judgment. She stood alone at the center. The council asked questions in measured tones about Helios 9, about human behavior, about Elias. She answered honestly. "They did not dominate," she said. "They did not command, they did not extract compliance. They offered choice." Choice. The word echoed through the chamber, translated into languages that had no true equivalent. "That is inefficient," a delegate said. "Yes," she replied. "But it is powerful." They showed recordings. Elias standing between her and the restraint field. Human ships arriving but not attacking. A human commander stating boundaries instead of threats. "You risk destabilization," another delegate said. "So did fire," she answered. "So did flight. Progress is destabilizing." Murmurs rippled. Then came the question she feared. "Do you feel bonded?" She paused. "Yes," she said, "but not owned." Silence followed. Bonding without ownership challenged the foundation of many interstellar hierarchies. Control had always been the language of safety. Humans spoke something else. "Are humans dangerous?" the council asked. She thought of Elias, of laughter in damaged corridors, of restraint under pressure. "Yes," she said carefully, "but not in the way you fear." She returned to Helios 9 days later. Elias was waiting. "You came back," he said. "I said I would." They did not embrace. They stood together shoulder to shoulder watching the stars. The consequences came slowly. Trade routes shifted. Observation teams arrived, not to inspect humans but to learn from them. Some species withdrew from contact, others leaned closer. Humans adapted, they always did. But tension grew. Not all species were willing to accept change. A coalition formed quietly. Not openly hostile but concerned. Concern became preparation. One night cycle, Helios 9 detected incoming ships, not marked, not responding. Elias moved fast. "She's with me," he told command when alarm sounded. The alien girl felt the old fear rise and then something new. "Resolve. They will attempt forced extraction," she said, "or demonstration." "Yeah," Elias said, "figured." Human ships moved into defensive formation. Weapons charged but did not fire. The unknown fleet stopped just outside engagement range. A transmission opened. "Return the alien asset," a voice demanded. "Human interference will be corrected." Elias stepped into the channel. "She's not an asset," he said. "She's a person. She is not human. That's not the requirement." Silence. "Then step aside." He did not. The alien girl moved forward, standing beside him, visible on the channel. "I am here by choice," she said. "You are compromised." "I am awake." Weapons powered up across the fleet. Humans responded not with fire but with broadcast. Across every open channel, humans shared recordings, testimonies, proof. Moments of restraint, cooperation, shared survival. They shared their stories. They shared her words to the council. The galaxy listened. Not all agreed. A shot was fired. Not at Helios 9, but into empty space. A warning. Human ships did not respond. The tension stretched unbearably. Then something unexpected happened. Another fleet arrived. Then another. Species who had watched humans quietly. Species who had lost countless lives to forced compliance. Species who understood, perhaps for the first time, what choice could mean. They did not attack. They stood. Outnumbered, the hostile coalition withdrew. The battle never came. Afterward, the station was quiet again. But this time the quiet felt earned. The alien girl felt exhaustion settle into her bones, emotional output at unsustainable levels. Elias noticed. "Hey," he said softly, "you okay?" "I am more than I was," she said, "and less protected," he smiled. "That's being alive." She looked at him, at the human who had changed the direction of her existence without ever trying to own it. "What happens now?" she asked. He considered the stars. "Now," he said, "we keep choosing." She nodded. For the first time, the future did not terrify her. It waited. And she was ready to walk toward it. The galaxy did not change in a single moment. It changed in layers. After the standoff near Helios 9, reports spread faster than fleets ever could. Not rumors, records, transmissions. Open channels filled with human words and alien testimonies. What shocked most species was not human strength or technology. It was human refusal to control. The alien girl felt the shift before anyone announced it. The station felt different. Visitors arrived more often. Not soldiers or inspectors, but thinkers, engineers, diplomats. They came to observe humans the way she once had. But observation no longer worked the same way. Humans noticed when they were watched, and they did not change themselves to be acceptable. Elias remained the same. He still fixed broken panels instead of replacing them. Still shared meals, still listened more than he spoke. When asked why he did what he did, he always gave the same answer. "It's right." The alien girl stood beside him more often now, openly. No longer hidden, no longer protected by technical status. She was a symbol whether she wanted to be or not. That weight pressed on her. One cycle she confessed this to Elias while they sat near the viewport, stars drifting slowly beyond reinforced glass. "I am becoming something I did not choose," she said. He nodded. "Yeah. That happens when people pay attention. I do not want to be used." "Then don't let them," he said simply. "You make it sound easy." "It's not," he admitted, "but it's possible. The council sent another message soon after. This time it was an invitation not to her alone but to humans as well. A summit, neutral space, no weapons, open dialogue. Humans debated, some wanted to refuse, others saw opportunity. Elias was asked to attend not as a commander but as a witness. He was uncomfortable with that. "I'm just a guy," he said. "You are a choice maker," the alien girl replied. "That is why they fear you." The summit chamber was larger than Helios 9, but it felt smaller. Pressure filled the air. Delegates from dozens of species watched as humans entered, not in formation, not in silence, but as individuals. No uniforms matched perfectly. No posture was identical. The alien girl noticed the contrast immediately. The council began carefully. "You have introduced instability," one delegate said. Elias leaned forward. "So did every species here when they first left their homeworld." That statement caused discomfort. "You reject hierarchy," another said. "We reject forced hierarchy," Elias corrected. "Big difference." The alien girl spoke then, her voice steady. "My people believed emotion was weakness. Humans showed me restraint is stronger than suppression." A ripple of reaction followed. "What do humans want?" the council asked. Elias paused. "To live," he said. "To choose." "Same as everyone else." "That is not reassuring," a delegate replied. Elias smiled faintly. "It shouldn't be. Choice is scary." The summit ended without agreement, but it ended without threat. That alone mattered. In the cycles that followed, alliances shifted. Some species began voluntary exchanges with humans, not treaties of control but partnerships. Others withdrew, isolating themselves in fear. The galaxy reorganized. The alien girl took on a new role, not diplomat, not observer, translator. She explained humans to others, not their language but their thinking, their contradictions, their refusal to be simple. It was exhausting. One cycle, after a long session of discussion, she returned to Helios 9 drained. Her system struggled to regulate emotional load. She stood alone in a quiet corridor, breathing slowly. Elias found her there. "You don't have to carry everything," he said gently. "I chose this." "I know," he replied. "But choosing doesn't mean suffering alone." She looked at him. "You stay," she said, "no matter the cost." He shrugged. "Someone has to." "That is not sustainable," he smiled. "Neither is suppressing who you are," she laughed softly. That sound had become easier, but danger had not vanished. A final message arrived from a distant coalition, those who still believed control was the only path to order. They would not attack. They would isolate, trade embargoes, travel restrictions, information blackouts, a slow suffocation. Humans responded the only way they knew how. They adapted. They built independent networks, shared technology freely, opened routes others could not block. Where walls rose, humans found paths around them. The alien girl watched it all with awe. Her people had feared chaos. Humans turned it into movement. One cycle she stood before the council again, this time by choice, not request. "I will not return for cleansing," she said calmly. "I will not erase myself to restore comfort." The council did not argue. They had seen too much. "You are changed," they said. "Yes," she replied. "So is the galaxy." They let her go. When she returned to Helios 9, the station lights greeted her like home. Elias waited, leaning against the familiar railing. "Looks like you're officially a problem now," he said. She smiled. "So are you." They stood together, watching ships arrive and depart. Humans, aliens, mixed crews now. Laughter echoed in corridors once silent. She felt something settle inside her, not certainty but peace. "Elias," she said quietly, "if the galaxy turns again, if fear returns." He looked at her. "Then we choose again," he said. She nodded. For a species raised to observe, choosing had once been unthinkable. Now it was everything. The galaxy would remember this moment not as a war, not as a treaty, but as a realization. Humans did not conquer systems. They changed minds. And once a mind had tasted choice, it could never return to a cage. Standing beside the human, the alien girl knew one truth clearly. She was no longer holding back, and neither was the galaxy.